sit back and get ready to relax, since we have someone who is very near and dear to my heart going to be on. Of course, this is our second show, WURD. Thank you so much for joining. 96.1 FM, 900 AM radio. Also, you can go on WURD TV, Facebook, and click like and subscribe, and you can also be seen and heard on the radio. So I'm going to introduce to you someone who I have the pleasures of. I'm going to say she's my Sahaba, she's my sister, she's like all these little things to me, a pain in the butt too, all those things. She's a pusher, she pushes you, you know, and I'm telling you, it's an honor and a privilege to have her on with us. She is known as and branded as everyone's favorite therapist. Now, you all do know that I'm a therapist as well. However, I'm known and has been branded as Author Doc B. And Michelle is everyone's favorite therapist. So we're going to talk to her because here on Bring It to the Table, we discuss everything that you have survived, overcome, and conquered. And my best part is that how are you living now? You know, are you living beyond your dreams? You know, like what got you to where you actually are now? And this storyline is just incredible. I have a plethora of questions that we're going to get this interview going. So, Zafiria, you will need to pronounce the proper of the saying of your name, because, you know, I know you from school, and that is Michelle Davis, everyone's favorite therapist. Let's give her a warm welcome. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. I have to, in the future, get the producer to do the claps, like when I'm introducing the people. And so, you know, it'll evolve over time, and I'll talk to him about that and things of that nature. But for now, introduce yourself to the people. We did do a live earlier last week, and you were able to, you know, and we got some really good feedback too, you know, and good comments from the people and some of the things that they were interested in talking about today. So our topic today is from trauma to healing, right? Mm-hmm. So introduce yourself, and I'll start my series of questions shortly after.
So my attribute is Zafira. Most people call me Za for short, which I actually prefer. But my name is Michelle Renee Davis. I'm a licensed professional counselor. I'm a national certified counselor in Pennsylvania. I just recently opened up my own private practice where faith meets mental health.
Yes.
And basically, for me, it's about giving back to my community and making sure that people are getting the proper services that they need for all of their mental health issues. And I do a holistic approach on how I treat people with varying disorders, from, you know, bipolar disorder to personality disorders to addictions. So, you know, as I'm branding myself as everyone's favorite therapist, and basically what I will hope today is just showing the people that you can go from trauma to healing, and reminding people that healing is not an event. It's a process. It's a lifelong journey that you will continue to do as you grow in life. It's continually to heal.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. And so can you tell the audience how young you are? Because that's my favorite part.
I'm 34 years old.
34 and branded. Get that, people. 34 and branded in a whole career, on a whole journey. That's awesome. And so can you tell the audience where you are from? Where were you born? Where are you from?
So I was born and raised in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I consider myself a Philadelphian nomad because I've lived almost in every section of the city. Growing up, I experienced a lot of homelessness with my mom, and, you know, few other boyfriends and things that she had. So we kept moving, going from shelter to abandoned houses to friends and family houses, even to, I remember some times living in people's houses who didn't have heat, electric, no running water, or any of those kinds of things growing up.
Sure, sure. And so how did that impact you?
Well, as far as the homelessness,
and going from place to place in shelters, and how did that have an impact on you?
so at the time as a child, I didn't really understand what that meant, moving from home to home to home. But now that I'm older, I realize like I had limited friends. I didn't know what it was. I mean, even though all my friends are, I have the ones that I do have are lifelong friends, but I
Sure.
had difficulties with developing relationships and friendships with other people because I never got a chance to establish them often because of us moving all the time. Also, it puts me in positions where my basic needs weren't being met, where we used to go from church to church to get free food and go to food banks. And during winter months, we used to have to sit our meats and stuff outside just to keep things frozen. So it was a lot of things that were happening that were normalized in my family
Sure.
until I got older and realized the impact that it was absolutely having on me.
Wow, what a story. What a story. And so where did your dad, where was your dad at this time?
So before that, when I lived with my dad, before the homelessness began, he was in my life until I was about 9. I absolutely hated my dad growing up. He was very physically abusive. He was a mentally abusive, emotionally abusive. I can't remember one day going by where he didn't call me stupid.
Sure.
The
Well, he
wealth
was way off. He's way off on that note.
But
Oh,
as I gotten older, but even as I gotten older and I finally reconnected with my father, I think he had some developmental disabilities,
okay.
as we talk and stuff. So it was definitely a projection from him to me that I was stupid and things like that. But I just remember times he beat me in a tub. Um, One time he beat me so long that the belt popped,
Wow.
at 9 years old. And so when he left, I was extremely happy. That was like the best day of my life
Sure.
when he
Sure.
left.
Sure. I'm sorry to hear that, sis. But I do know, bring it to the table. We talk to everyday people like yourself who have struggled. So would you say that you survived, overcame, or conquered? If you had to use one of those adjectives to describe your journey, which would you speak to?
For my journey per se, I would have to say that um, I've survived.
Nice.
And I would say this part of my life, I'm walking through.
Okay.
I'm walking through the forest. Because even as I go through my healing process, even as I look at things differently, I still have, some idiosyncrasies and,
Wow.
some distorted thinking processes that you don't realize you have until it's presented to you, until
Mhm.
until the
The
event is
trigger.
presented to you. Yeah, until the
Or like
trigger
until you're
happens.
triggered or something happens and it
Hmm.
reactivates that moment and things of that nature. Yeah, I get
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I get it. Because
Because I didn't even realize, even as I've graduated and started my own business and raising my children and things like that, I didn't realize that I still was holding on to the fact that my dad called me stupid. Because even in some of my interactions, I have this saying like, I can get through anything, just don't play in my face. Because if you play in my face, I feel like you're telling me that I'm stupid. But that has nothing to do with me.
mm-hmm.
But that's still a trigger of mine that I'm trying to work through and get through because it's really difficult when I I perceive, because it's always about me. It's always about
Oh,
you.
absolutely.
Your
Absolutely.
perception shapes your world,
Mm-hmm.
and it's on me to fix my own perception. And I need to ask myself, is what happening real? Because
Yeah.
It's my reality, and then there's their reality, and then there's actual reality.
Yeah, they say it
And
starts with you and it ends with you, you know, and the way that you see things. And so that brings me to my next question, which would be, I'd like to talk to you in regards to coming out of the, traumatic childhood life's experiences, because our topic today is from trauma to healing,
Mhm.
you know. And what's the name of your company again?
Where faith meets mental health.
Where faith meets mental health. That is really deep. That is really deep. So where did you get that name from? Like, how did you come up with that name?
Well, for me, when I became Muslim, and I was, thinking about how, as someone who is Muslim, we think that, the Quran and Sunnah doesn't speak to mental health issues, that it's just spiritual. You're sick because you're not doing what you're supposed to do. You're not spiritual enough. You're not spiritual enough. And so basically what I have done is saying, hey, this is where faith is, and I'm going to show you how it meets where you are, and to help, cultivate that mental and spiritual connection
Okay.
that you have.
Okay.
So,
And you use that holistic approach to do that.
and I do a holistic approach.
And so holistic, what does that mean in your eyes? Because I have an understanding of what holistic means, but can you tell the audience what it is to you, what that means?
So a holistic approach is where you think about your emotional well-being, your mental well-being, your spiritual well-being, and your physical well-being. Because what people don't know about trauma and about your experiences when you live life is that the number one indicator for physical health problems is trauma. The number one indicator for substance use is trauma. There's a lot of things that happen. So I'm 34 years old with osteoarthritis of the spine. I'm too young for that.
Okay.
However, it's here. And those are some of the things that I have to work through physically. And if I neglect it, my body's just going to deteriorate. But also like the emotional state of my perceptions. Like, again, like I said, like me thinking that people are calling me stupid, it's triggering. Now, emotionally, I'm angry. So now my blood pressure is raising. I have adrenaline that's happening, and that starts to break down body systems.
Yes, I can agree. I understand that completely. I really do.
And then it also disconnects you from your spirituality.
How about that? Can't even tap into your power that's greater than yourself. Wow, that's some really good information. So in essence, what you just said and described was a holistic approach. It's just anything that pretty much in life that makes you feel whole, that gets you back to your complete self.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my thought of what you just said. That's outstanding. That's good information. So can you talk about your educational journey to the audience? Can you let them know the high school you went to? Woo, woo, give a shout out to your high school and your college. And I already know which one you're going. What's the best one? That one that shoots that fire that we went to. But I'll let you tell it because it's your interview. Go ahead.
So anyway, of course, elementary, I went from school to school to school. Middle school, I went from school to school to school. High school was actually the only school that I was consistent in, that I stayed in for all 4 years. Well, okay. I got kicked out at like 2 months before graduation. Okay. But that was the only school. But even with that being my only school, I was rarely there. Because I was in DHS, I was going from shelter to shelter, to group homes to group homes, to foster homes to foster homes. So I missed a lot of, especially 11th and 12th grade, I missed a lot of school. We'll be gone for months at a time. However, I graduated. I went into a SIL program, which is a supervised independent living, where they give you a house, apartment. and they pay all the bills until you're 21 years old. But the requirement is that you have to go to college. Now, see, this is the beauty about sometimes when we think our trauma is the worst thing that can ever happen to us. But in my experience, that has been the best thing that has ever happened to me. If I did not get if I did not have a mom who was on drugs, and all those events happening, it would not have allowed me to go to college, because I wouldn't have. My mom didn't require anything of me. It was, you go to school, you come home, that was it. It was never no conversations about what I wanted to be in life, what did I want to do. So I had to go to college when I was in my SL program. And while I was there, you know, I took it as a joke because, you know, I just got to do this. I'm smart. I can do this with my eyes closed, blah, blah, blah. But then I take a youth works class.
Is that when you and I met, though? Was that when you and I met?
Yeah. And I absolutely loved it. I absolutely loved it, because I was going to stop at associates because I would have aged out of the SIL program. Yes. Yeah. So even afterwards, that's when I went to Drexel University.
Now, that program is offered in the city of Philadelphia?
Yes. Okay. So that's in Philadelphia. It's a Saturday Scholars Program where you went every single Saturday for almost all day. But I got a lot out of it. But I know author Doc B wants to think that Drexel was my favorite school, but it actually
I know it wasn't. You told me that on the interview on last week. I remember.
It was Eastern University.
Okay.
When I went there, that's when, so I had
Dr. Chapman gonna be mad at you. He gonna be mad at you.
So
when we go back for the alumni, he's gonna say, "I heard what you said on the radio."
So I just to back up just a little bit, my healing kind of started after I had my daughter. So I had a daughter at the age of 20 who passed away 2 days after she was born. She was premature. And once that happened, it broke me. And that's when I was able to rebuild myself, because at that time I was still very angry. I didn't even know that I had a problem. I didn't even know I had issues. I felt like everybody else was the problem. Everybody else had the issues. There's nothing wrong with me. It's something wrong with everybody. Why are you crying about stuff like that? And mind you, I'm in a human service, classes and stuff.
In the field, yeah.
And I'm still thinking to myself, like, is this person crying about being sexually abused? I was too, girl. Get over it. Move on with your life. And that was my mentality, that why are you feeling pain? And not realizing that I felt pain too. I just stuffed it with my own set of addictions. I may not have smoked weed. I may not have become an alcoholic. I may not have been smoking crack or doing heroin, but I had my own addiction that was allowing me to cope with the pain of being sexually abused.
Sure. Wow.
So that's when that brokenness happened. That was the first time that I cried. In years.
Yeah, I was there for some of that.
I was first time I cried in years. I'll never forget it. That's when it jump started me feeling. But when I went to Eastern made us write papers about ourselves, made us write assessments about ourselves. And then basically I had a 25-page paper of myself that said, girl, you are messed up.
Come on. Wow.
And when that happened and I was able to see it in black and white, it did something different. It allowed me to realize that all of these, disagreements and stuff like that I'm having with other people, it's me. Sure. I mean, even though it takes two to tango, it's me. It's my perception. It's what I'm thinking of, how it's forming me of my reality. So I started to stop and say, when stuff happens and that's why I love Islam so much, is actions are based on its intentions.
Intentions, yes.
Two things can happen. The same event can happen and mean something completely different based off the intentions of the person.
Yes.
I could be in, a situation where, like, say a significant other, and we're talking, whatever the case may be, and I'm like, you know what? This relationship is not working. I feel like you have abused me, so I'm leaving. I'm not leaving you. I'm leaving the abuse.
The situation, yes.
Now you'll have other people where it's like, no, I'm leaving because I want to control you and make you do what I want you to do. So
Right.
my absence is going to make you get your stuff together. So, but the same event happened, but the person's intentions are two different intentions. And that's
Right.
very, very important when you are dealing with someone else's. What are their intentions?
Right.
And because that's really, really important on how you make a decision about what's happening. So once I got to Eastern, I started realizing and uncovering a lot of stuff, and a lot of things changed for me when it came to relationships, friendships, any of those kinds of things, because
Sure.
it no longer, my past was no longer holding me hostage.
Okay.
And I stopped allowing my past to inform me about what's happening in the present.
That's awesome. Anybody who can actually stop their past from being a part of their present, are they're just phenomenal people, period. And people don't really understand that the past is exactly that. It's supposed to be looked at
Mm-hmm.
so that your today, your here and now can be better. That is the example of what to do or what not to do. Either you did it good or either you did it bad. And I really like the paragraph, and I'm a stickler for this part. Nobody on this planet will ever hold Arthur B, and I'm sure you too, Saphiria, hostage to the past. Like that was then. Let's talk about what's going on right now, as my grandmother would say, right now.
Yeah, and it's funny because what I always tell people to look at life like you're driving a car. You look in your rearview mirror to see what's behind you, but you can't stay stuck looking in the rearview mirror because you're going to crash in you're going to crash in your
Absolutely.
present.
Absolutely.
And that's what people do. They're looking in their past and then they're crashing in their present.
Absolutely.
You can't be too focused on your future because now you're in a delusional state and now you still crashed your future. But you have to stay in the present where you looking side by side and seeing, and to be able to navigate the road and anticipate what's going on around you right then and there.
That's funny that you said that. I have a workbook coming out this month with a navigation system. It's like a GPS called the General Practice of Survival. So, and it details exactly what you just said. Yeah. You know, it does. It helps people. So that's good. So how do you feel thus far? How do you like the interview? Going good for you?
Yes, it's going well. It's going well.
Yeah. Was there any moment that you felt overwhelmed about any of the questions or the topics or anything so far?
No. I've owned my story.
Hello.
I owned it. Because I know that my story was started being written before I even knew that it was being written,
Mm-hmm.
But also I know that now I became the author of it.
That's right.
And I have choices, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us choices that I can start writing who I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
I literally started waking up, like when people are like, oh, she fake because she don't act like that. How she fake? Maybe that morning she decided she wanted to be better.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Maybe that morning she decided I wanted to change.
Absolutely.
And you have to give people the freedom to be able to say, you know what? This is who I want to be today.
This is who I want to be today. Very good. And with that being said, we're almost at our half-hour mark. We're going to talk about the trauma to healing. That is our topic today. Ladies and gentlemen of the audience, you are listening to everyone's favorite therapist, Michelle Davis, Zaphiria. Say the last name again.
Amatullah.
Amatullah. I love it. Amatullah. So I want to thank you for coming on the show today. We're not done yet. I want to give everyone the phone number. Please call in, ask questions. The topic is from trauma to healing. And Zafiria just told you her journey, where she came from, how she is healing. Well, wait until you hear what's coming up next for her. She has just branded herself, and it's just a lot of things just about to go on. So the number is 215-634-8065. That's again 215-634-8065. If you have any questions about today's topic, from trauma to healing, and if you just want to say hi, come on, congratulations. If you want to know anything else about the topic, or Michelle, Zafiria, you can just call a number 215-634-8065. You are listening to WURD 96.1 FM, 900 AM radio. I am your host, author Doc B, and we bring it to the table. What do you bring to the table? Well, people who have survived, overcome, and conquered anything, and are living life beyond their dreams. And I mean, this right here, you know how Steve Harvey say, Steve Harvey got a radio show. Well, I'm like that too. I'm your female Steve Harvey. Felicia got a radio show. Author Doc B got a radio show. So I'm really excited, and I'm happy that my brand is expanding and going to other levels. Let's thank Tiffany Beacon for the opportunity, producer Jordan and Eric from WURD Radio and URD TV, which is live on Facebook right this very moment. Please click like and share when you go on, and subscribe to WURD. Don't forget to subscribe to Bring It to the Table on YouTube. You can also go to Instagram and subscribe to my Instagram, author Doc B. I'm on Twitter and Facebook as Felicia Burton. Now, I have to give my number one shout out to, of course, Bring It to the Table's producer, George. Oh my God, I was getting ready to forget his name. Anthony. He's sitting right over there like, you forgot my name. So I want to give Anthony from Anthony Wrights Visual Studios a shout out as well. I want to thank him for, always being there for me and working with me on this project. It's very difficult at times, but we push through and we just get through it. We do what we need to do to get the job done. All right, so it's 2:30 now, and we have about a half an hour left. Is there any, because he's going to let me know. Let me just see if there's any callers first. I want to find out if there are any callers. So I think that we have Ron from North Philly on, and we have Ladette from Philly. You have quite a few callers that are on right now. So did you want to take some calls now, Zafiria?
Yes, that's right.
All right, so we can let caller number one come on in.
Hello?
Hello, how are you? Welcome to Bring It to the Table.
Hi, I'm a little shy, but question for Michelle is, what was one of the hardest, did you have any barriers in your healing process from like the trauma? Like what was one of the hardest steps that you had to take in order to start your healing process?
So you want to know the biggest barriers to starting or maintaining it?
Maintaining it.
Maintaining it. The hardest part with maintaining it is accountability. It's so hard because you want to, I'm going to speak for myself, I want to always blame other people for my actions. Especially that famous saying that be going around social media, like people always want to talk about what I did to them, but they don't never want to talk about what they did to me. It doesn't matter what they did to you. You did what you did because that's who you are. Regardless of what, because I always give people this analogy. I can slap someone. I can slap 4 different people, and they will all respond to the stimuli differently. Some people will slap me back. Some people may shoot me. Some people might be like, oh my God, why would you do that? Some people may just stand there and do nothing. That's who they are. What I did is on me. What they did is on them.
Right.
And when you start to really understand how you have the power to respond to any stimuli, any kind of way that you want to.
Awesome.
Wow. Okay, I totally
that was
understand.
a good question. Thank you so much for calling in. Please go to everyone's favorite therapist and click like and share and join Zephyria in her quest to healing people through her trauma treatment and all of her approaches. Her holistic approach is what she mentioned today. And please go to Instagram and subscribe, follow, click like and share, all that stuff, because we are really trying to market her, get her out there, as well as myself. And you too, if you're interested in coming on the radio, you can do that to market yourself, get your brand out as well. Bring it to the table, addresses everyday people. That was a good question, wasn't it?
Was. Mm-hmm.
Really good question. Who is next? Do we have someone else that wants to come in? I think it's someone named Ron is on standby.
Yes, how you doing?
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh, I'm listening at the program. I want to say to the young lady, you was very fortunate to survive what you overcome. And look at where you're at today. The typical part, I'm way up in age. And a person had me in their life when I was 3 months of age. And what she gave me, I didn't have money, I didn't get a lot of trauma. What she gave me, and she's always talking to me. She's always speaking, giving me caring, plant words in my mind. When I got to be the age of 5 years of age, and 6 and 7, these words had effect. We didn't have money, but we had one another. We didn't have a beautiful home, but we had one another. And what she instilled in me, it made me the person I am. So I say that to say that you, miss, was able to survive the obstacle course of life, human affliction, abuse to you. You thank Almighty God for you being able to recover. Some people never recover. But I must say this once again. This has been a learning stage for you, man, to always share with whoever you meet that they can overcome and they can accomplish. Always use the word project, and people live in those units there. The word project is not a negative. The word project means to take on. And that's exactly what you did. You look into inventory in your life.
Yes.
And look at where you're at today once again. And I say, as far as myself is concerned, what the Lord has blessed me with this wonderful woman that wasn't my mother, but took and rocked me in the bosom below her breast. And she taught me through words. And I was a warrior too. I'm not being a bad child. I wasn't a bad child, meaning, get out and tell trouble, but I was a warrior too. I was like a Mandingo type of child and grew up to be a Mandingo in my life, meaning a powerful, strong man with no money. And because of my situation, I became a much better human being. And when you are the way you are, miss, you are all, as you're writing your books and you're telling your story, somebody will hear you. And once again, I thank the Almighty God for blessing you to withstand what you just said over the phone. So you are blessed. But remember, it's what you give in life, ma'am. It's not all about money, ma'am. When the Lord prepared you at an early part of your life with no money, and you said the man was abusive to you, but look how you took. You're not abusive to no one else, ma'am. And I say this to you, you must give back, ma'am. Always show sensitivity. I don't know if you're familiar with the lady out in New York named Mother Hale. You're one of the children. You're one of the children that was one of the children back then. You're one of them type of person that came out of that type of situation.
And I really appreciate that.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Ron.
And I wanted to say something about what he said about I'm not abusive to no one. That I wouldn't say that to be true. I'm still working. I still have, again, my idiosyncrasies of things that I have done to other people even through this healing process and this healing journey, because again, you never really know yourself until the trigger happens. And there has been things that, you know, even recently that has triggered me that I'm quite sure I caused some people some pain, you know, and but at the same time, my past is something that, again, I look in that rearview mirror and I say, dag, that was messed up. Now I got to make sure in my present I don't continue to do those patterns so it can affect my future. Because those things you have to look at, you know, because if you take the stance of, oh, I'm healed, I do nothing, and it's about the accountability, you will never grow. You become stagnant.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Ron. Thank you, Zephyria. We're going to have to move on for the sake of time to the next person. And then I did have some closing questions in a little bit. Instagram, everybody wants to come on. But guess what, Instagram? You're going to have to call in. This is Real Radio, WURD 96.1 FM and 900 AM radio. You can either turn on your radio or not. So we would like to hear from Nikki. There's someone named Nikki that's on the line right now. We're going to ask the producer to put Nikki through. If you want to come on, you need to dial 215-634-8065. And I'm your host, author Doc B, and we are speaking to Zephyria Michelle Davis, everyone's favorite therapist. We have a caller named Nikki on the line. Hello, hello.
Hello, this is Nikki.
Hi, how are you? Welcome to WURD. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm great, thank you.
I'm good.
So did you have a question today or a statement or anything regarding the topic from trauma to healing?
Yeah, so for the therapist, is that the actual walk that she went through? Did she, go from trauma to healing? And if so, how did she do that?
So yes, it's my story, it's my walk. I went from physical abuse and emotional abuse and mental abuse from my father, sexual abuse twice by two different boyfriends of my mother's. Mother was addicted to crack cocaine. Lived some time of my life in a abandoned house where we had no windows, no running water. We used to have to wash up in the kitchen. We used to get water out the basement to flush the toilet and do basic stuff for our home.
Yeah.
And then I went into group homes, from group home to group homes to group homes, and even inside group homes there were abuse that I didn't even realize was abuse until I actually started writing my book, my memoir. And I'm like, oh my goodness, like that was abuse. Like I've experienced even more abuse, throughout my walk. But what has really helped for me was, well, one, I had a traumatic event of losing my daughter. So that was kind of what like broke me to be able to experience feelings. And once that happened, and once I got a good look at myself through grad school, it allowed me to realize like I have things that I need to change. I need to work on myself. And the biggest tool that I can say that I use in this walking journey are my friends.
Nice.
I have friends who I've been friends with since I have one that I was since 5 years old, another one from 12 years old, and then I have another one from 14 years old. They have been through this. They've walked with me through this. They have loved me, accepted me, and hold me accountable.
Wow, and then I came later on, so I'm at the end.
Yeah, you came later on.
I'm at the end.
But they held me accountable through this walk and this journey. And honestly, that's going to be the hardest part, is you being responsible for your own healing and journey, whatever that may look like, whether that's therapy, whether that's exercise, whether that's going to the doctors, whatever it is that you need, you are responsible. It's not everybody else. Because sometimes we look at other people like, you're my spouse, you should make me happy. No, you should make you happy, and they should add to your happiness.
Absolutely. That's a good question, Nikki. Anything else? Thank you so much, Zephyria. That was awesome.
To deflect
onto the parents their unhappiness, and they don't accept the role that they play and state that they play. And so a lot of times they want to blame the parents for everything. And so that's why I was asking you, like, how did you get through it? But the first part of it really is acceptance, really is the role that you played and where you need to change and grow up and even learn to forgive people for things they don't even realize that they've even done.
That part.
But you know what? I want to add to that because, you know, in therapy, this is what I tell people when they be like, oh, my mom did this. I be like, you can blame your parents for whatever it is that you want to blame them for. Yep, your mom did it. Yep, your dad did it. Yes, her boyfriend did it. But now you're grown. And now it's your job to heal. It's not theirs. It's your job to heal.
Absolutely.
And even if they want to have that conversation, you know, with their parent, because at the end of the day, nobody's a mind reader.
No.
You have to speak out. You have to say, listen, and because I feel like everybody's truth is everybody's truth. I can't take away from you what you believe to be true. So therefore, to me, that's where having adult conversations come into play, when you talk about your experience and then give that person the opportunity, you know, to say, I never knew that was happening, or I'm sorry, or whatever the case may be, but they just walk around holding on to it, being mad at you when the person doesn't even know what you're even mad at them for.
And I can speak to something like that because even with the brain, because, you know, psychology was my master's. I got a master's in psychology, and we studied the brain and patterns in the brain and thinking processes and things like that. The brain doesn't even absorb that much information. At the end of the week, you're only going to remember 5% of the stuff that went on in 7 days. So half of the argument or whatever took place that make you not want to speak to that person or make you feel harm for that person, by the time next week comes, you're already going to forget exactly what the argument was about. You don't even know why you're mad at your parents, why you're mad at your man, your husband, your teacher, your boss. You just don't know. So thank you so much, Miss Nikki. I'm going to move on for the sake of time to the next person. There are other callers. Now, I want to ask you a question before you go, Miss Nikki. Do you know me? Are you somebody in my family?
Yes, I am your sister-in-law.
I kind of thought it was you, girl. Bye. Thanks for calling in. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I know your voice anywhere. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
But I want to say though, because even though your conscious mind may not remember the stuff, your subconscious remembers it. Your body is going to keep the score of everything that happened to you. So much so that, and I'm going to share this story. You know, during my sexual abuse, right? A lot of things happened, obviously. Well, and I wasn't raped. I was just sexually abused. I just want to make the distinction that, you know, I was just touched, fondled, and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And as I get older and now I get married and I'm like, oh yeah, I got a husband, blah, 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 blah. We can have sex. We can do all this other thing, but I can't kiss you. Because when I was growing up, that wasn't a part of intimacy because I learned my intimacy from the abuse.
Wow. Okay. Well,
so
you set that straight, didn't you?
Yeah, so it's just like, that's where I learned from. My mind didn't make the connections until I got older, but you have to. So sometimes even when people are behaving a certain kind of way, you know, my professor, I loved him so much. He used to always say, stop asking people why they do this and why they do that. Start asking them what happened to you.
Okay.
What happened to you that makes you do this? Like, what happened?
Yeah. Thank you so much. Boy, you set the record straight on that one. That was really good. I enjoyed hearing that. And your growth is just so incredible. Like, you're just an amazing woman of God. I'm so grateful to have you in my circle. Jordan, did we have another person on the line? Oh, quite a few people. Wait, let me see how many. So we have Daryl. Is there Daryl and Mamie from University City, I believe, is on the line? You could put one of them on.
Yes. Assalamu alaikum, Michelle.
Wa alaikum salam. Hey, Daryl. How are you?
Yes, I'm great. I just want to tell everybody on here that I had the privilege of being her supervisor, and she really was everybody's favorite therapist. It's just, you know, sometimes people say things impacted people that she came in contact with. Michelle, I'm just so proud of you. One of the things that you said, and I know as an African American male, being an African American male, you are born into trauma. And one of the things that you said, and I see it in your life, is taking accountability for recovering from the trauma. And I think a lot of times what happens is that we stay stuck in the trauma. And it's almost like we expected someone else to heal us. And I have witnessed and watched you. I'm almost speechless. When you sent me the text telling me that you were going to be on here, I have to attend this, and I have to let people know that she really is everyone's favorite therapist. Your energy, Allah has blessed you with a heart. And one of the things I've come to learn about my past and our past is that a lot of times your past is necessary for your future. It's something that, no matter how traumatic it may be, it's really how you respond to it. He talked about the stimuli. If you smack me, how do I respond to it? If I'm incarcerated, how do I respond to that? If I'm traumatized, how do I respond to that? And I'm just so happy. I just wanted to get on here and just say that I love you, Michelle. You are amazing.
And, where did you guys work at now? Don't get off too fast, Mr. Darryl. Hold on a minute now. Hold on.
We worked at the consortium.
I knew it was consortium. I knew it was that consortium.
As an African American male, we're born into trauma. And one of the things that Michelle talked about, it's important that we don't allow the trauma to keep us stuck and we take accountability and move forward.
Right.
I think a lot of times what we do is keep on talking about the trauma. It's kind of like Biggie said. Biggie said everybody got a story to tell, right?
Everybody got a story, absolutely.
Everybody got a story to tell, but being able to take accountability and say to yourself that you want to heal is something very important.
Thank you, Darryl. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining. Hello, everyone who just joined in. You are listening to WURD at 96.1 FM, 900 AM radio. I'm your host, author Doc B is in the building, bringing it to the table with everyone's favorite therapist, Sister Zephyria, known as Michelle Renee Davis, dropping it like it's hot. Topic today is trauma to healing. And boy, her story just lit up the lines. I believe we have more. I think somebody else wants to come on. We got another 10 minutes. You want to bring them on in, whoever it is. Bring them in. Bring them in. Let's see.
Hello?
Hi, how are you? Welcome to WURD. Bring it to the table. How can we help you?
Well, I called to congratulate you all. I'm so thankful that WURD AM and FM, 900 AM and 96.1 FM, the legacy of Dr. and Mrs. Lomax under the leadership of Sarah Lomax Reese is still educating, helping people. I hope you all are going to always be on. Is this your only time on Sunday at 2?
Yes, ma'am. I'm on Sunday at 2 until I find more sponsors because, you know, I have to build up my audience, find more sponsorship, and hopefully I can get a weekly spot. But for now, I am every 4th Sunday at 4 p.m. You can hear people, everyday people, not your big people, but everyday normal people who have overcome, conquered, and survived anything and are willing to share their stories and say what they are, how they are living beyond their dreams right now. And
well,
today,
I would like for you to leave information for everyone to be privy to your services because it's excellent. Many of us, because of who we are, have suffered all kinds of trauma, and we have, because of who we are, we have to suffer with it, as same as Ketanji Brown Jackson suffered through that ordeal she went through to be a nominee for Supreme Court Justice. You all are supreme in what you're doing, and I thank you, so please leave your information.
Yes, thank you so much. I will. You can always find it on Facebook, WURD Live. TV. It's definitely on Facebook. All you have to do is just click like and then subscribe, and you'll be able to see all of what WURD have to offer. They are doing some amazing things in the community. And then all you have to do is every day just keep your station on 96.1 FM or 900 AM radio, and everything that we're doing is going to be on there. So I promise you. They have some really
do you have a phone number?
Yes, 267.
Yes.
242
242
0399.
0399. And you are Audrey?
I'm author, 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 Doc, DOC, be like boy. I've written a book, and this radio show has been an offspring from my book.
Thank you. Have a blessed
You're welcome,
day.
and have a great day.
Out there.
Thank you for
God
joining.
bless.
Thank you for joining. She was our last one. We're going to get ready to start winding down. I think maybe we only have 1 or 2 minutes left. But thank everyone for joining. You are listening to WURD Radio 96.1 FM, 900 AM, under the leadership of Tiffany Beacon. I want to thank my producer, Jordan, and I want to thank my producer, Eric, but Bring It to the Table's producer, number one, son. I love him so much. He just does so much. Anthony Reichs from Anthony Reichs Visual Studios. Thank you all for joining, Michelle.
Yes.
Superior, you were amazing. You dropped
Thank
the
you.
bomb.com. Any final remarks to the audience?
If anyone would like to reach out, have any questions, you can go to psychologytoday.com. If you type in my full name, Michelle Renee Davis, I will come up. All my contact information is there. We'll take you to my website. It'll give you my phone number and my bio and anything that, any services that I have to offer.
All right, there it is, folks. You heard it. It's your girl, Author Doc B, closing out today from WURD 96 FM.